I want to quickly cut across to our panelists this evening. Sandeep Shastri, National Coordinator, Lokniti Network; Deepak Thimaya, National Spokesperson, Congress; Surabhi Hodingre, Spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party. I want to cut across to Sandeep Shastri first. Sandeep Shastri, understandably, that is what was expected, that there's going to be no clear conclusion. The matter, at least politically speaking, is going to continue to simmer, but the fallout of that, Sandeep Shastri, the timing of all of it, everything contentious.
Preeti, if you look at the Siddaramaiah agenda, it was very clear that Siddaramaiah, as a Ahinda leader, saw himself as somebody protecting the interests of the backward castes. And now when there is this whole debate on whether the Karnataka Chief Minister needs to change after 2.5 years, I think this is an important political trump card that has been played in terms of putting the caste census in the forefront. Because if this caste census report, which has come out in the media, is to be believed, it states that the Vokkaligas and Lingayats, the two dominant castes of Karnataka, their relative strength has gone down. Preeti, it's important to remember that the Vokkaligas and Lingayats have always been more than half the MLAs of Karnataka. And if it is said now that their relative strength is going down, it has very serious political implications and it is likely to have serious repercussions. Let's also remember that in the past, whenever any backward caste commission has suggested that either Lingayats or Vokkaligas or both should be taken out of the backward caste list, it has been strongly opposed and no government has been able to take them out of the backward caste list. So this is going to raise a large number of issues. And as you very rightly said, the Congress ministry itself is divided on the issue. And that's why you have a cabinet decision which seems to be that ministers will submit their views on this, their disquiet about it. And I think the point they are largely making, which D.K. Shukmar also made, is that we are for social justice, as Rahul Gandhi says, but then we need to look at issues of the caste census more closely. So I think that's the stand, and it will not be easy for either the Congress government or the Congress party to take this issue forward without too much of ruffling of feathers.
You know, Deepak Thimaya, the question is, if all of this was happening, if that report or the proverbial caste census was tabled, mind you, it's 10 years old, number one. The timing of it is contentious. One of the points was touched on, but none other by Mr. Shastri, who said, it's been 2.5 years and there is enough discontent where your party is concerned. But let's leave the conspiracy theories aside. The fact is, this is a leak because we still don't know what the report actually says. You're on mute, sir.
Sorry. That is only speculation, right? If we are speaking about something that we don't know of. So nobody has given those reports to anybody. So that apart from the cabinet considering it and debating it. And as you know, the Congress party has MLAs, all of them who are committed to social justice. And I'm sure that they will hold that primary to everything else. So if at all they have any concerns, they will certainly debate it and they'll discuss it. And they will also bring forth the concerns of their respective communities. And I'm sure the government is wise enough and quite sagacious enough to be able to make the right decision. And ultimately, the thing is that the society has to be taken the way it is, and nobody can put in their imagination, hallucination, whatever, to just think that, the things are the way they think it is. If at all there is some truth that's going to come out, which is going to benefit the large number of people, I'm sure everybody in the Congress party is going to be committed to it. But keeping that in mind, it is natural for people to feel a little ruffled and, unsettled with these reports. So certainly that they will express their angst and concern and anxiety. So the government is taking the right step. It's not saying that it's going to unilaterally, in an authoritative way, implement it and, cause a lot of, concern. But let me tell you, and this is not going to just affect the Congress party, it's going to affect the other parties too, because it's about the people of Karnataka. It's not just about the congressmen. So you have to keep that in mind very clearly.
You know, I'll ask you one quick question, Mr. Thimaiya, because you still have some time. And that stems from the fact, why rake it up right now if it doesn't serve your chief minister, not the deputy, but the chief minister politically? Why bring in something that you could have possibly tabled 10 years ago, because this report is 10 years old, this survey is 10 years old? Why now? Why is the timing so contentious? I'll give you 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Go ahead, make your point.
The leadership of the party has been insisting on this for a long time. And if you know that the national leadership of the party, the high command also has been wanting this to be, discussed at least. And, the right equitable, distribution to happen. And because the Congress party is heavily dependent on the favor, the grace, and also the support of the backward classes, because whatever that we have done also, and see, on many, many occasions, people have accused of being, totally, perhaps, like the way we are accused, that even to the extent of being lopsided in our approach towards the backward classes and the minorities and so on. And it is natural for the BJP also to feel quite unsettled about this, because, it's going to cause a lot of disconcert to them. But let me tell you, and this has nothing to do with Mr. Siddaramaia's politics, so whatever this had to happen, and today with the kind of majority we have, if we don't do this, when else will we do?
Well, I would reckon you do it in the first year itself, where you take oath, because your entire campaign, I'll come back to you, sir, I'll circle back to you. Allow me to bring in the BJP spokesperson, because your entire campaign in Lok Sabha was around the, caste census. It was all about social equity. You could have done it earlier. So really, the question does prevail. Why now? It was Telangana actually came up earlier, conducted a survey and tabled it way earlier than you did. So the timing is going to be questioned, sir, whether you like it or not. I want to bring in the BJP spokesperson, Surabhi Hodigrer. Surabhi, the fact is, why so much dissent? Because it seems this is a ticking time bomb for the Congress itself. Why don't you just sit back and watch the show?
First, I'd like to answer the Congress spokesperson's, reference to speculation, conspiracy theories, etc. None of these, on the basis of the timing as to why this has come out now, none of these comments on why the timing sounds so suspicious is being made from anybody in the opposition. It's being made from people within your own party. And the same people, yes, they could have gone to the cabinet meeting, they could have gone to the chief minister and told them about their, inconveniences or their thoughts and processes. But today we're seeing in Karnataka, every single minister having a divergent opinion than what the Congress is saying through its government. So let me make it very clear that none of this is speculation or conspiracy theory coming from the public or the opposition. It is coming from within your own party. To answer your question, Preeti, this is not merely about politics or, hey, look, we're the opposition, we're going to oppose everything that the government is going to do. No, this deals with the 7 crore Kannadigas, 7 crore people of Karnataka, whose livelihoods, whose jobs and employment, education, all of this is in question when it comes to reservation and categorization of different opportunities. So, of course, we're going to be asking the question. And the question that we're asking here is that this is not a scientific report. And how can you table such an unscientific report? To just give you some instances as to where we are seeing manipulation of data, whether it's the manipulation of caste names, whether it is fragmentation of different castes. For example, even Vokkaligas have been, fragmented as Gaudas, Bunds, when it's all known that these are all together. Or it's the overestimation and a very unfair categorization of our SC/ST brethren. In Karnataka, 49 STs are categorized as well as 101 SCs. But that number has been inflated as well. So all of these things put a question. Why have you brought forth an unscientific survey? Not a census. Let me remind you that. A survey. And the popular narrative that's going on, not just from the public, not just from the opposition, is people don't remember being surveyed. This is completely working against the Congress.
All right, I want to bring back Sandeep Shastri into this conversation. Sandeep Shastri, one thing is also, the irony of all of this is because we still don't publicly have the numbers of this survey. It's a leaked report. There's enough politics around it. But the question I want to ask you, Sandeep Shastri, is that this is a Pandora's box for the Congress. And if they open it, it could be self-deprecative in a number of ways. And we can already see that.
Preeti, to start off, I think the leak is so porous and transparent that I wonder whether it's a leak in terms of what is today in the public domain. Now, I think we need to look at important political implications of what the Congress leadership in the government is attempting through this. Let's remember that in the past also, caste census, caste reservation has been used by governments at critical moments. Remember VP Singh announcing Mandal Commission report just as they were facing a confidence vote. So caste census and caste related issues have always been critical for leaders to leave a stamp of themselves in the politics of the state or the politics of the country. So I think that has to be kept in mind. The mere debate on the caste survey does not indicate that the caste survey's findings are going to be implemented. It is just you have let the cat out among the pigeons in terms of a discussion to happen. But I think this discussion also has a detrimental effect on all parties because it brings out the inner party dissensions in parties. And let's remember, as I said earlier, the Vokkaligas and Lingayats MLAs account for a majority of the population of MLAs. And on this issue, it's quite likely that across parties, the MLAs of these two communities would come together. So I think it goes beyond party politics and goes to the finer nuances of caste politics in the state.
All right. Okay. I want to go back to the Congress spokesperson in all of this. The fact is this leaked survey, and we can give out the numbers there as well. It doesn't quite really matter. Mr. Thimayya serves the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, because somewhere down the line it will help him consolidate his own Ahinda vote bank, but will be counterproductive when you look at the Vokkaliga, the Lingayat support which comes in for the Congress. So therefore the question, it's counterproductive where the Congress is concerned. And I'll give you an example why, which you say the top leadership wanted it. You had Mr. Kharge, who was asked about the caste survey in Karnataka, and he distanced himself from it. He really wants nothing to do with it. So really, I don't see it coming in from the top brass of the Congress. It's seemingly stemming more from the Chief Minister's office.
Okay, when I spoke about the speculation, and I did not mention conspiracy, but when I spoke about speculation, it was basically about people like you yourself said that we still don't have the report. I don't have the report. We are just going by the newspaper reports. So I called it speculation. It's not about the BJP doing the speculation or whatever it is. I've been very careful about that. And there is no conspiracy that I'm alluding here. But let me tell you very clearly, like Mr. Shastri said, this is not going to affect only the Congress, but also the BJP, because I'm sure the BJP's concern will be far more than Congress's, because, they are seen as an upper caste party, which they are certainly trying to make inroads into the backward classes and all. But predominantly, that the kind of support that they've been getting and from where it is coming. And so certainly that, if at all you see that the numbers are actually small and the other classes have a bigger numbers, I'm not saying this is like the final thing, like Mr. Shastri said too, and nobody can just arbitrarily implement it. This is like, he has called it like the cat among the pigeons, but I say that this is like a sort of food for thought, because I think a society should be dynamic and you should be having these things, because otherwise the society becomes stagnated and nothing moves at all and things stay the way they are for centuries. And things have to change. Such data has to come out. Let's correct the data. I'm sure that Mr. Siddaramaiah, whatever that you may allege it to be, but he is a very wise politician. He also knows how he would go down, in time, as how he is going to be seen. But if at all people say that it's going to be advantageous to him, I'm sure that even other politicians are also quite clever. They too know how this is going to pan out. But let me tell you, the people too are quite clever, and I'm sure the people who voted for Congress are not going to complicate this matter to actually, make it difficult for the Congress party. But let me tell you, if at all you say that just because it's going to be inconvenient for some parties, that if at all you're going to stop these things from happening, I think that's being naive.
So Ruby, is this inconvenience for the BJP? That's what, it's inconvenient right now, especially on how the social groups stack up in this particular survey, which again, I would say, many, even within the Congress, Mr. Thimayya, are calling it unscientific in nature on how it was conducted.
The inconvenience is not being voiced from the BJP. The inconvenience is being voiced from people within the cabinet and within the Congress party. Let me remind the Congress spokesperson here that we have a very We're very proud of the fact that we have a OBC person as our Prime Minister. I don't like to go by that definition, but that's the matter of the fact. Because when you tell us we are a forward caste party, that is very insinuating. I can say that the Congress is a party that appeases significantly, but please do not make such comments about the BJP.
I did not make such comments. Please listen to my words.
Sir, please allow her to finish. Go ahead, ma'am. Make your point.
You did. Let me complete my point. My point being here is that the BJP has constantly been, let's do the caste survey. Of course, a society is changing. Fair representation, social justice must be in order. But do not do a survey based on unscientific methodology, unscientific data. Do not do it in 2015 and then release it in 2025. Do not do it and, not release it to the public, not have discussion about it, and push it around in such a way that it only benefits your internal political situation, because that is what the people of Karnataka are waking up and reading in the news today. If truly the Congress party wants to put forth the reservation based on true numbers, let us do it in a scientific manner. Why overestimate certain communities and underestimate a few more? Why would you do that? Why categorize? And where do not, there are language-based classifications within the caste survey that we have seen in the leaked version. What is all of this based on? There are caste rankings on basis of education and socio-economic factors. What are those rankings based on? Yes, we don't have the entire report. This is all based on the leaks that the government itself has leaked. But tell me, is that not fair for discussion? Is that not something that we must be discussing? Have a proper, do a scientific, methodology-oriented survey, and then we will have a conversation about it. Please let us not go into these conversations about, is it politically relevant,
we're not taking any timer now. Just, the last 5 minutes that I have, I just want to bring in all of you one by one. And Sandeep Shastri, the fact is, if you look at, the 2023 state assembly elections, and correct me if I'm wrong, sir, I would reckon 49% of Vokkaligas support actually went to the Congress. So that was a huge shift. 23% of Lingayats went to the Congress. So why is the Congress doing this at this point of time? Many would suggest is counterproductive. On the other hand, when tickets need to be given, the new combinations would be very, very different, because, how do you give the same amount of tickets on what you've been doing where your influential leaders from each community are concerned?
Preeti, you are very right in saying that the Congress won 2023 is stitching together a rainbow coalition. It got support from the Lingayats. The Vokkaliga vote saw a three-way split. And of course, they got a significant chunk of non-dominant OBC vote. Why are they trying it out now at this stage of their term? I think we need to look at the political calculations which is there for leaders at this point of time. How leaders are locating themselves as part of the wider debate in terms of jockeying for places and positions, and also maybe looking at how they would be looked at in history. So that factor, as I said right in the beginning, Siddaramaiah has a political message and a backdrop. He is seen as an Ahinda leader. He would like to, during this term as Chief Minister, do what he can for the community he represents. And in a sense, the attempt is to try and see that the backward caste, as he would put it, has their due, but it is producing the backlash from the other groups. And given the fact that those other groups are also prominent in the Congress, it creates a challenge for the party.
Just one final word, final submissions, Mr. Thimayya and Surbi. Mr. Thimayya, please go, the Congress spokesperson.
See, I did not say that the BJP is a party of forward classes, but that's actually something I think she must have misheard it. But let me tell you, if at all, today that you're reacting like this because the numbers are different from what you expected, and if at all this report has been talked about for the past 10 years, and you suddenly today you realize that it was an unscientific report because it's not very favorable to you, and it should have been done the way you wanted it to be, so the numbers could have been fudged to your benefit. I think that is something that nobody could accept, because it was talked about, and if at all you had such concerns, you could have gone to the court, wherever, you could have stopped this report from coming out, because you were so sure that this was an unscientific report that was being put together only for the benefit of the Congress party. There were so many other governments that actually came to power in between, but they also did not bother about it, because, I'm sure that everybody knew what was in there. Okay, and they conveniently ignored it. But let me tell you, we just have to look at the interest of people of Karnataka, and it's going to be.
I'm running out of time.
One last
Make your point.
BJP too is quite concerned about it, and a lot of people are airing their grievances.
Concern is
but
understandable.
It's not being reported.
Mr. Timaya, concern is understandable, but 10 years late, for example, India would conduct surveys every 10 years. This report, even if it was scientifically conducted, the survey is defunct by now because it's 10 years.
That we should talk to the government. I certainly would do my own research.
Because it was a survey that the state conducted, sir. That's why I'm saying. It's a survey that the state conducted, which you didn't table at that time. You're trying to table a survey which is 10 years late.
The CM has very clearly said that the ministers have to study the survey and give their opinion.
But what are you? Let's say it's scientific in nature, but it's 10-year-old. The country itself should conduct a census. I'm talking about a census, not even surveys every 10 years.
You have a point in there, but I'm not running
the government. So the report is defunct in any case. Why are we looking at data which was collaborated 10 years ago
and
then make reservation on those grounds? It makes no sense. But all right, final submission. So we go ahead.
No, Mr. Deepak Timaya sir, with all due respect, you're not running the government, but you're defending it. And this is where the Congress party is getting it wrong here in Karnataka. The Congress is speaking in one tone and the government is speaking in another. The report is 10 years old, yes. The BJP government came, between this. The reason it was not accepted during the BJP time was because it was not even signed by the man who was responsible, the person whose name goes on the report, Mr. Kantaraju. There was always questions about its, rigor. There were always questions that were raised from the BJP camp. The point that we're trying to tell the Congress over here is that if you're so keen on doing the caste survey and making sure that reservation and making sure opportunities are built on data and numbers, do it properly. Do it properly. Do not do it in a biased manner.
Okay. That's all the time that we have for now. That's all the time that we have for now. I appreciate all three of you for joining us. Thank you there. We're going to end this bulletin, but we're going to keep eye on all developments that are taking place because understandably it's an issue that at least one section, not the entire Congress, one section of the Karnataka Congress want to keep on the boil. Let it simmer, let it fester, let it stew.